I think some of y'all need to be more vain. I speak with so many ladies who whisper when they tell me, well, this is kind of vain, but I'd like to have defined arms. Or they tell me a long list of wanting to be stronger, healthier, better example for their kids. And at the very end, they shyly say, oh, and it would be nice to look a little better too. In my head, I'm thinking, of course you do. You're literally talking to me about joining the Create Your Shape program. But I get it. In some ways, we've gone so backwards that we're ashamed to say we want to look like we take care of ourselves when we do. But just like it's a good thing to get a better paying job, another degree, or hit a PR, in this episode, I'm giving you full permission to be more vain. Let's get into it. Before we get into everything, if you're watching this on YouTube, you will notice I am in my new office space. And we're still getting set up. Our house is full of boxes and everything on my to-do list is like put together this furniture, research and buy this piece of furniture. But it is slowly coming along and I love it and I love my new office space. Also, if you didn't hear, the next Create Your Shape class starts on July 27th. So that's coming up. But when you get signed up by the end of June, you will not only get $200 off, but you'll also immediately get access to the Create Your Shape training program to get started on. You'll get the foundational guidelines to get started on, and you'll get bonus coaching until we get started. So that is great to get ahead without feeling like you need to fully get started on every single piece, but really start getting everything down, especially some of those basic components, or just getting back to routine or getting ahead before we actually get full on started at the end of July. So you can join us and get signed up at the link in the show notes or jennythenutritionist.com/create-your-shape. And the last announcement, I have my final one-on-one coaching spots open. And these are the last ones for the rest of the year to get started in June or July. So if my one-on-one coaching is something you've been interested in, or you just want to learn more, send me an email at jenny@jennythenutritionist.com and I can share all of the details with you. And also we can chat to see if this is the best fit for you or not. All right, with that, let's talk being more vain. I'm going to cover why you feel vain and why it's a problem, what will change your mind about this, and how to be more vain confidently. So first, I think what people are afraid of is coming off as someone who only cares about themselves or just like taking selfies, or for some reason society has made it seem like building your shape is pointless unless you care what other people think, or other personal achievements are okay, but if it comes to your look, specifically your shape, it is not. I actually remember wanting to look fit because I loved working out. I loved what it represented. I remember wanting to have my shape represent that so bad, but I remember not wanting anyone else to think I cared or I was trying. So when we were in front of people, I would do the opposite and I would like make jokes or like point out things to intentionally look like I wasn't trying. Like I would call myself the human garbage can because I would take everyone's leftovers or whatever anybody else didn't have. Like I remember being like, oh, I can eat that. I'll order that in front of people to show them, oh no, I don't care. I know I love working out and stuff, but I don't care what I look like. And you know what happened is then I never looked like I was that fit, because when I was in front of people, which is a lot of times, just like everybody else, it doesn't work that way, right? I was offsetting any progress I was making. It's just silly. And so that is the problem. It's because you are always in front of people, whether that's your family, your extended family, your friends, where you are also eating with them. So if you constantly are trying to not make good decisions or make opposite decisions or trying to act like blase, then that is not going to get you where you want to go. And I honestly think, now I see it clearly and we'll go over why, it's such a bad example. And it really, I think, especially in the US, where we're pushing this, oh, it's okay to not be healthy. And it doesn't end up well for anybody involved, especially our culture and society as a whole. So here's a few ways to think about it differently. First, the myth that building your shape is pointless unless you care what other people think about you is just so wrong. In order to have a shape that looks like you're fit and healthy, you have to be fit and healthy. It's a direct correlation of how strong you actually are and how much muscle you have. It's a direct correlation to the ideal body fat percentage, which associates with so many health issues. It's a direct correlation of how you're going to age in your vitality and how you are going to be able to show up for your kids and the rest of your family, and what you're able to do and the standard of life you're going to have as you age and as you get into the 60s, 70s, 80s, where a lot of people can't do many things, right? It is such a strong correlation to how you look even now, and even your bone health, right? Like your bone density. It just ties into so much of your health and so much of this aspect. So to think that how you look doesn't correlate is just incorrect, or we're just not even aware that there is such a strong correlation. Now, I will say, if you go to the extremes, right, then that is obviously not as correlated. But I'm not talking about the extremes here. To look like you lift weights is not the extreme, right? That is like a strong correlation to how healthy and fit you are. Now, the other thing with this is how you represent your shape will play a role in how you are perceived and how others view you. And where I think that people get this wrong is they automatically think, oh, they care what they look like. But really, when you see somebody who's fit and strong, you immediately think, oh, wow, they take care of themselves. They prioritize their health. They are disciplined. They have values, right? You generally associate them as being someone who gets things done, does what they say they're going to do. And those generally are perceived as good values. Along with that is just the personal confidence. Of course, there's the confidence of just your shape and how it looks. But what I'm really talking about here is being someone who says they're going to do what they say they're going to do. Like that just internal confidence goes so beyond just the outcome of what your shape looks like. And not only do what you say you're going to do, but to be able to do hard things, to be able to push when you don't want to push, to be able to like fit things in your schedule. Like the list goes on and just how it builds your internal confidence. Along with that, just like people say constantly, all in like my college classes and whenever I was in the corporate world about getting promoted, it's like, oh, dress for the job that you want. The same thing, you are perceived based on the clothes that you wear at your career, and this is out in the world too. You get a first like glimpse of what that person may be like or is into based on how they represent themselves through their clothing. It's an expression. Same thing with your shape. And so again, just pointing out that, oh, that one seems to be fine and okay for society, but the other doesn't always seem to be. And a great example of this, I'm working with a one-on-one client right now, and she got a huge promotion earlier this year, and she's the head of a certain division in her company. And she's in a lot of board meetings. She's in a lot of just meetings in general where she's meeting people throughout the company. And that was one of the priorities. She's like, I want to look like I take care of myself. I want to look confident and strong and fit, because those are values I do personally have, and I want that to be represented when I walk into the room. Such a good example. All right, let's move on to the second problem. And the second problem is society seems to have made other personal achievements be okay, but looks aren't, especially when it comes to your shape. Now, I want us to just think about all of the things that other people achieve where there's no like moral ground that makes it better. So for example, decorating your house. Right? There are some people, you go over to the house and they have the nicest house. It's very well done, very well decorated. You're not going in there and being like, she's so vain, or they're so vain decorating their house, trying to make it look nicer, right? You never do that. You're probably like, oh, wow, they're creative. Wow, they have a really cool skill. They put time and effort into this. Ooh, I wonder how they think about this. Like that's what you're thinking. Like, this is so cool. Maybe I can learn something. Same thing with like learning to play a piano. or any instrument. Same thing, when somebody can play a piano really well, they're not learning to play the piano and thinking like, oh, I'm so vain that I'm learning to play the piano. No. Or when you see somebody playing the piano, you're like, oh, okay, that's a cool skill that they took time to figure out. They took a lot of practice to learn, and they get to enjoy it like themselves and have like that weekly activity or whatever it is. Same thing with getting a master's degree, right? For some reason, that's not considered like, oh, vain or shameful, even though it's just a personal achievement to then better their career or make more money. But again, very rarely is it like, oh, that's helping society so much. It's generally always like a personal achievement that is for them and their family, and ties into getting a promotion. Like I talked about, where that's congratulated, right? Because it is, you worked hard for it. It shows that, oh, you're smart, you're driven. And the point of all of these examples I'm showing is it takes skill to do those. Same with building your shape. You have to learn the skill. It takes practice and determination. You have to stay with it and be driven. Very much so with building your shape. You have to continue to work toward it and continue to progress. It's not just something that you can do once and then that's it. Same thing with building your shape. And you get the benefits of playing the piano, of decorating a house. Like, you get the experience and the joy from that. It's not like those are just like volunteering for other people. Like, the individual gets the benefit with it, along with their family, their friends. And the same thing with building your shape. You get the benefit of it, but so do your family, your friends, like people you don't even know are inspired by that. And lastly, let's talk about how to be more vain confidently. So I want you to think about it like an athlete who is choosing to compete in something just for the challenge, just for the personal achievement. For example, like running a marathon, running an ultra, competing in a jiu-jitsu match, competing in a CrossFit competition, competing in high rocks, right? People sign up for these things because they want something to pursue that will make them better. I want you to think of building your shape the exact same thing. I actually think you have to think of it the same way, because that's what it takes. It takes the plan. It takes the strategy. It takes okay, how am I fitting this in to my calendar to make this happen? It takes discipline. It takes learning what to do, how to do it, what's the strategy. And it takes consistency. And it takes like coming up against obstacles and mindset obstacles and things that you have to overcome to then achieve that. It is the exact same thing as being an athlete. The difference is you are not doing something for like time or specific race. Some people do it for a specific competition, like a bikini competition, but yours just maybe doesn't have that stage presence like the rest of these do. That is the only difference. But I want you to still think about it that way, and think about an athlete progressing in those micro achievements that you have every week, every day to get there. And it's exactly why in Create Your Shape, when I work with my clients, we have the weekly check-ins where we have the key metrics that we're progressing every single week. We're tracking weights to know, okay, are we building the amount of muscle that we want to be building? And so it's not just vaguely eating healthy or vaguely working out. It's all very intentional, which I find it so much more fun, because then everything is really purposeful to help you reach that goal and achieve that personal achievement, which somehow we are calling it vain and in a bad light, when, as you can see now, I think everyone needs to be more vain for all the reasons I just listed out. And if you're someone who's like, yeah, I want that, I want to achieve that, then join us in Create Your Shape, and or reach out to me to get one of the final spots in my one-on-one coaching. And I'll see you next week on the Create Your Shape podcast.